Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video, not one I really wanted to make or thought I was going to have to make, but let me show you guys something. Hopefully the camera is picking that up. What I want you to do is look right here where the axle goes into the hub. That, my friends, is a failed wheel hub bearing. Now what's really not cool is that that's an American made one. About 9,000 miles ago, I replaced both wheel bearings. My friend had a set of wheel bearings that he had in his shop in a box on a shelf that they never used. He has a CV axle shop, and they were the exact wheel bearings that fit this truck. I can't remember what brand they were, but I do remember they're made in Cleveland, Ohio. It was definitely an off brand. So 9,000 miles later, here we are. So I thought that it was going to be, I was hoping it was going to be the ball joint, but the ball joint, both upper and lower, and the tie rod ends are tight as a drum after 20,000 miles. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to remove this American made wheel bearing. And I think that wheel bearing was from the early 90s, I think he said. But obviously they don't make them in the United States anymore. Parts like that, they're all made in China. So I'm gonna go back with an AC Delco Gold replacement. This is the exact same thing. If I went into the Chevy dealership and wanted a wheel bearing, this is exactly what they would give me. It's the same thing that they would put on a vehicle. Obviously, this being the 1989, it's far out of warranty, but yeah, it's the AC Delco Gold, and yeah, they're made in China, but so is everything. So hopefully they will last at least as long as the original ones did, which was almost, I think, about 100 and almost 200. So anyway, enough whining, let's get to it. Remove the axle nut. This is a 36 millimeter. Lug nuts are 7/8. I'm going to compress the brake pads just a slight bit. Just enough so I can have a little extra leeway when I pull the caliper off. Slide it back on. The caliper bolt here and here, these are 3/8 hex. Look at that. This is why you put silicone lubricant for brakes on your slide pins. See how good a shape they're in? All right, so I'm going to take the caliper off. And I'm going to hang it up with a hook. Remove the rotor. The hub is held on by 3 15 millimeter bolts. You can access them by lining up the holes in the hub. Make sure that your axle is able to slide. Last time I did this, I made sure to put some copper anti-seize on there so it won't rust. All right, now all you have to do is just slide the hub out like this. copper anti-seize. It's there. A little bit of grease on the bearing, or the knuckle. And here is the failed hub. All right, so here's the AC Delco hub. I want to show you guys something. Listen to this. And these are, I was looking, these are Koyo bearings made in Japan. So, all right, so I went ahead and lubed up the area there with some copper anti-seize, never seize. On these bolts, just a little bit of blue. According to the manual, these bolts get torqued to 66 foot-pounds. Seems a little light, but a little bit safe. I'm just going to sit these down. Now, before I torque this down, I'm going to go ahead and put my axle nut on here. The reason that I'm doing this is because I want to draw the axle on fully into the splines before I torque it. Now, incidentally, this gets torqued to 173 foot-pounds, and unfortunately, my torque wrench only goes to 150, so we'll have to guesstimate it the last little bit. Right. That is tight as a drum. Next, put the rotor back on. And we'll take our caliper. We'll slide that back on. Well, all that's left to do is to put the wheel on and torque everything up. I'm going to make sure to torque this as close to 173 as I can get it, and then I'll show you the results. I was going to show you guys a little trick, but as you can hear, the garbage truck decided to stop in front of my house. But instead of having to try to lift the wheel up, if you've got big wheels and tires, especially if you've got a four-wheel drive truck that's got some substantial feet to it, you can get this kind of in position and use a giant crowbar and just lever it up. That way you don't have to try to lift it up with your back or your hands or whatever, sitting on your butt like some people do. Alright, so when the wheel is touching the ground, I'll actually torque those. Same thing with that, but listen. Nothing. Tight as a drum. So I'm going to take this wheel bearing over to I can examine it a little bit better, and if I find anything weird, I'll let you guys know and show you.